Welcome to Reading English Daily. Today you're about to hear a story that is more than just words on a page. It's a journey of courage, resilience, and hope. This is the story of Ethan, a boy from a small countryside village who once believed his future was limited by poverty, fear, and the language he could not speak. But as you follow his journey, you'll see how even the smallest steps, the tiniest victories, and the courage to keep moving forward can transform a life. You'll walk beside Ethan on dusty village roads into crowded city streets, and through the moments of nervous silence, awkward mistakes, and finally the pride of speaking English with confidence. Along the way, you'll discover lessons not only in English, but also in life lessons about persistence, hope, and believing in yourself. So, get comfortable, listen closely, and let's step into Ethan's world together. This is more than just a story. It's a journey you can learn from, relate to, and carry into your own life. Chapter 1. A struggling village, a hidden dream. The morning sun had not yet risen when Ethan opened his eyes. The air smelled faintly of dry earth and firewood while the roosters in the village crowed loudly, greeting the day. At just 15 years old, Ethan carried a small basket of vegetables to the market, walking quietly along the narrow dirt path. Neighbors greeted him with tired smiles, and he returned each one politely. Life in the village was simple, predictable, and safe. But inside Ethan's heart lived something bigger, a dream that seemed impossible in a place like his. At school, the classroom was a small building with cracked walls and wooden benches. The blackboard was dusty, and sometimes the teacher's voice faded into the background. Ethan truly enjoyed learning, but English was a wall he could not climb. The words slipped away from his memory, refusing to stay. Whenever the teacher asked him a question, his throat tightened. His palms grew sweaty, and he lowered his head, praying not to be called. Around him, his classmates answered easily, their voices confident and clear. The distance between them and him felt enormous, pressing down on him like the hot sun on the village fields. Still, Ethan held on to his dream. He wanted to study beyond these narrow roads, to read books he had never seen, and to understand the world beyond the hills that surrounded his home. At night, after a long day of work, Ethan sat under the dim light of a lantern. He imagined a life where money was not a problem, where English was not a barrier. He saw himself walking in a busy city, asking questions, learning and speaking without fear. The picture was vivid, but also painfully distant, like a star too far to reach. Even in struggle, the village gave him comfort, his mother humming softly while cooking, his father repairing tools with steady hands, children laughing near the stream. These were moments of warmth, but they could not silence the call of his dream. Ethan knew that to move forward he would have to face discomfort, confront his fear, and fight the challenges that held him back. His life seemed ordinary, but inside his heart was something extraordinary, the courage to dream bigger. Deep down he felt it, something was about to change. A small chance was waiting for him, and if it appeared he would have to be ready to take it. Chapter 2. A Glimmer of Opportunity. That afternoon the village square was unusually quiet. Dust swirled gently around the old market stalls as Ethan carried a small bundle of firewood home. On the far side of the square, he noticed a stranger speaking with the school headmaster. The man wore clean-pressed clothes and held a stack of papers that looked important. Curious Ethan slowed his steps, trying to catch the words. He didn't understand everything, but one phrase stood out: scholarship program in the city. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. A scholarship, a chance to study beyond the hills of his village. That evening he shared the news with his parents. His father listened silently, his rough hands resting on the wooden table. His mother's eyes glimmered with both pride and worry. "It could change your life, Ethan," his father said quietly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "We believe in you even if it feels impossible." Ethan felt a rush of warmth at those words. His parents had little money, but their faith in him was endless. But soon excitement gave way to fear. The scholarship test and interview would be conducted entirely in English, the very subject that had always made his stomach twist. He imagined standing in front of examiners, frozen, unable to speak. The thought alone made his chest tighten. Sensing his worry, Ethan's best friend Daniel clapped him on the back. "Don't give up. We can practice together. Start small. You can do this." Those simple words meant more to Ethan than Daniel could ever know. For the first time, the dream didn't feel completely out of reach. That night, under the dim lantern, Ethan held the scholarship papers in his hands. He imagined the classrooms in the city, students speaking English, confidently teachers guiding him through books he had never seen before. Excitement rushed through him mixed with fear. The opportunity was here, fragile, daunting, but real. For the first time, Ethan whispered to himself, maybe, just maybe I can do it. Chapter 3. The First Struggles. Ethan's first English lesson after hearing about the scholarship felt like standing at the edge of a cliff. His heart was pounding with both excitement and fear. He sat on the worn wooden bench, his notebook open, pencil trembling in his hand. On the blackboard, Mrs. Sharma, the English teacher, wrote 3 words in large letters. "Future opportunity." "Dream repeat after me," she said kindly. Future oppo. Ethan's tongue stumbled, the sounds sticking in his throat. The words felt slippery, like they refused to stay in his mouth. He tried again, but each attempt grew more painful. A faint giggle came from the back of the classroom. Another student whispered something in perfect English. Ethan's cheeks burned hot, and he wished he could disappear. When it was his turn to read a sentence aloud, he forced the words out. I want to become a future architect." The sentence came out broken and awkward. His classmates exchanged glances. Even though no one was openly cruel, the quiet smiles stung. But Ethan stayed. He couldn't walk away. The thought of the scholarship, of the city, of the life he dreamed of it, anchored him to that bench. The real test came during a mock interview. The teacher looked at him and asked Ethan, "Why do you want this scholarship?" The classroom fell silent. Ethan opened his mouth, but no words came out. His mind went completely blank. His chest tightened, his heart beat so loudly it drowned out everything else. Seconds passed like hours. Mrs. Sharma gave him an encouraging nod. "Take your time," she said softly. But Ethan couldn't. The fear was too strong. He lowered his eyes, ashamed, feeling as though the dream was slipping away right there in front of him. Walking home that day, the narrow village road felt endless. The laughter of children, the sound of pots clanging, the river flowing, all seemed distant, muted. He sat under the old banyan tree, clutching his notebook. Over and over he whispered the words to himself. Future, opportunity, dream. Each time the words felt like failures. Yet he kept repeating them, refusing to stop completely. That night, Ethan understood something new. Talent alone wasn't enough. If he wanted to reach the city to win the scholarship, he needed more than just hard work. He needed guidance, someone to show him the way. The struggle was real. The fear was heavy. But deep inside, a small spark of determination still burned. Chapter 4. A mentor appears. One warm evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with soft orange light, Ethan walked toward the village, well balancing an empty bucket in his hands. His mind was heavy with the memory of his failed mock interview. The silence, the panic, the shame it replayed again and again. Lost in thought, he almost didn't notice the elderly woman sitting under the shade of a large neem tree. Her eyes followed him with quiet curiosity. "Good evening, young man," she said with a gentle smile. Her voice was calm, warm, and full of patience. Ethan stopped a little surprised. "Good evening, ma'am. I've seen you sketching in your notebook sometimes," she continued. "Those drawings of houses and buildings, they're quite good." Ethan froze, clutching his bucket. Few people noticed his sketches. He opened his notebook hesitantly, showing her the small designs he drew whenever he felt inspired. Her face lit up. "These are wonderful. You must have a dream, don't you?" "Yes," Ethan admitted quietly. "I want to be an architect one day, but English, it's too difficult." The woman nodded knowingly. "Ah, then maybe I can help you. My name is Mrs. Angeli. I used to be a teacher in the city." Hope flickered inside Ethan's chest. Could this be the guidance he had been wishing for? Their first lesson was nothing like school. Instead of long vocabulary lists, Mrs. Angeli connected English to Ethan's passion for buildings. She drew simple shapes, pointed to windows, doors, and roofs, and asked him to repeat the words. "Window," she said, pointing to a drawing. "Window," Ethan echoed. "Now imagine this window opens to a secret garden," she added playfully. Ethan laughed for the first time while speaking English. The fear that usually pressed down on him felt lighter here. With her mistakes weren't failures, they were steps forward. She corrected him gently, never harshly. Slowly, Ethan realized that English wasn't just a wall blocking his dreams. It could be a bridge to connect his imagination with the wider world. As the sun set and Ethan carried water back home, his steps felt lighter. The village looked the same, the dusty roads, the small houses, the children playing by the stream, but inside something had shifted. For the first time since hearing about the scholarship, Ethan felt a spark of real hope. Perhaps with guidance he could truly change his future. That evening, as he lay down to sleep, Ethan whispered to himself, "This is only the beginning."